Hi everyone, I'm Kevin and this is HFX by Bike, a YouTube channel all about getting around Halifax by bike. Halifax's geography means that anyone trying to exit the downtown under Brunswick will be climbing a hill, with the approach taken depending on the eventual destination. The Devonshire Painted Bike Lanes are one approach serving the north end. Running the distance of little over 1 kilometer, they provide the only bike infrastructure protected climb from the waterline. In today's video, I'll showcase the lanes in both the outbound and inbound directions. As always, I'll be playing a game of +1, -2 along the way. Every time I encounter a piece of infrastructure that makes the trip safer or more convenient, I'll add a point. And every time I encounter something that makes the trip less safe or less convenient, I'll take away 2 points. You can keep track of how I think the ride is going by looking at the heads-up display in the bottom right-hand corner. First up, there's a mini multi-use path at the base of Devonshire that's going to compensate for the off-center nature of the intersection. The transition from this landing pad into the actual outbound lane is kind of awkward. Theoretically, you either have to bike over the crosswalk, which is illegal, or dismount and walk across and then remount on the other side, which is just a few feet away. It's kind of a no-win scenario. The painted lanes give me a dedicated space to move up and down the street, although it's not barrier protected. It is something. Devonshire is technically classified as a major collector, so this is bike infrastructure on a major roadway. And it's really important that there's bike infrastructure on these types of hills because bikes just cannot match speed with motor vehicles on hills, so it puts them at a higher risk at a collision. It's actually, now that I think of it, weird that this is the only one on the peninsula. And if you're going to pick a route for an uphill battle, this is a good one. The grade of Devonshire is 3.5% on average, and so it's going to be a lot smoother than a lot of the other competing hills in the area, so good pick. This is the first time I've not seen it, but having cars parked in the bike lane is a pretty regular occurrence on Devonshire, so I'm going to go ahead and dock points for it. And at the end of the bike lane, you do just get dumped into traffic. This is basically the northernmost extent of this line of the bike network. Okay, let's check out the inbound direction now. The first thing is that the intersection between Devonshire, Duffus, and Novelty is going to be a bit much for anyone that's looking to use a bike lane. It's a 5-way intersection, and it has sprawling multi-lane access routes for each direction. It's a bit nuts. Both sides of the lane have a door zone design so that there's parked cars on one side and moving traffic on the other. When somebody opens their door from one of the parked cars, it more or less eliminates the bike lane from existence, so that's a safety hazard. The bike lanes are pretty wide, and the street as a whole doesn't have a lot of paving issues, so it's pretty good to roll over. The transition back onto the landing pad is perfectly smooth in the outbound direction, and technically this runs for more than 1 kilometer, so it gets my usual distance bonus. As a quick summary, the Devonshire Painted Bike Lanes are a useful connector for getting between the north end of the peninsula and the downtown core. It's the only climb from water level with bike infrastructure, but it suffers from a lot of the same design features as the Brunswick Street Painted Bike Lanes. The door zone design and frequent parking can make it uncomfortable to use. In the inbound direction, the 5-way intersection probably represents a considerable barrier for use for people living in the area. I'll look at different ways for improving this bike lane in a future video, but that's it for this week. As always, thanks for watching, and see you next time.